So if our Republican colleagues have the strength of their convictions, they should bring an authorization to use military force in Iran to this floor. We've not seen that. In 140 days, we've seen nothing. Soldier who serves our country in uniform and mourn the deaths of every single American service member who has been lost in this war and any other war. I listened carefully to the senator from Montana. He's right that the Iranian regime doesn't care about what's happening in the United States, doesn't care about politics in the United States. You know what else they don't care about? They don't care about the Constitution of the United States of America. They don't care about that either, but we in this Senate, we should care about the Constitution of the United States of America, because the framers of our Constitution deliberately vested the power to declare war in Congress, because they understood the enormous consequences of sending Americans into harm's way. So if our Republican colleagues have the strength of their convictions, they should bring an authorization to use military force in Iran to this floor. We've not seen that. In 140 days, we've seen nothing. If you want to be true to the Constitution of the United States, that's what Republicans would do. And the Iranians don't give a damn about our Constitution. But I would hope that those in this body who've been sworn to uphold it would give a damn about our Constitution. Because the framers understood. They understood that decisions involving war and peace should not rest with any one individual. You can glorify President Trump all you want, but the founders, those who helped write the Constitution, understood that that power should not vest with one person, whoever that person may be, regardless of prior party. That's what the founders said. The Constitution entrusted that solemn responsibility to the Congress, where the elected representatives could openly debate and vote on those questions before any president sent our sons and daughters to fight and die in foreign lands. We may disagree about whether this is a good idea or a bad idea, but we should not disagree that that is what the Constitution requires and that is what our oath requires. So, Mr. President, yes, I rise to urge my colleagues to support my war powers resolution to end this disastrous and illegal war against Iran that President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu launched over 140 days ago. The Constitution is unambiguous. This is not a close call. And yet, right now, we are finding ourselves confronting exactly the circumstances that the Constitution and the War Powers Resolution of 1973 were designed to prevent. They were designed to prevent one person from taking this country to war. They were actually designed in hopes that this Senate and this Congress would do their constitutional duty and vote yes or no, but take responsibility for decisions that send our men and women into harm's way. Take responsibility. Nearly 5 months ago, President Trump launched this illegal war. He launched it against Iran, and as I said, he launched it without any authorization. Since then, Senate Democrats and some Republicans have tried to reassert the constitutional role of Congress. We have voted 11 times on resolutions to end the war. And finally, last month, both chambers passed House Concurrent Resolution 86, directing the president to terminate hostilities against Iran. It was a historic vote. It marked the first time since the War Powers Resolution was enacted in 1973 that Congress successfully used this mechanism that was designed to halt the unauthorized use of force by a president, by any president. That resolution was not a suggestion. It is legally binding. The Iranian regime may not care about that resolution, But we should care, and the Constitution requires that we care. The passage of that resolution should have marked the end of this disastrous war. But time and again, President Trump has shown he has no respect for the Constitution. He was asked months ago whether he had to abide by the Constitution. His answer? I don't know. That is a president who has no respect for the rule of law. But we should. Instead, what the Trump administration has done is steadily expanded this conflict, moved farther away from diplomacy and farther away from a durable peace. When the Memorandum of Understanding between the United States and Iran was signed in June, I stood on this floor and said I hoped it would become the foundation for a broader diplomatic settlement. Many of my Republicans opposed that Memorandum of Understanding. I hoped that it would finally begin the long task of climbing out of the big hole this illegal war has created. That hope is gone now. Mr. President, this moment we're in now is a pivotal one in the war and for our role in it. Just this morning, the House of Representatives passed another resolution to end the war. That's how democracy works. The Iranian regime doesn't care about our democracy, but we should. And the Senate should pass this resolution just as the House passed a war powers resolution. This is the first war powers resolution since the United States resumed daily strikes against Iran, and the first since we reimposed a full naval blockade. It's the first resolution since another 4 American soldiers were killed. It's the first resolution since shipping in the Strait of Hormuz has once again been ground to a halt. And I think all of us here in the Senate know the Strait of Hormuz was open before President Trump launched this war. In the weeks since the last vote, more civilians have been killed as well. And the United States and Iran are now deliberately targeting civilian infrastructure. President Trump said that he will destroy a bridge or a power plant in Iran for every ship attacked in the Strait. It did not have to be this way. Many of us warned before this war began that military force would not achieve the vague, constantly shifting objectives its advocates promised. We warned that abandoning diplomacy would make the region more dangerous, not less. We warned that military action would strengthen the most hardline voices inside Iran rather than weaken them. We warned that this conflict would destabilize the region, threaten the global economy, drive up costs for American families, and ultimately leave the United States worse off. And Mr. President, since then, every single one of those warnings has come true. I wish they hadn't, but they have. Mr. President, we've heard the arguments warmongers have used to justify this stupid war before. The promises of quick victories. Just one more bombing campaign would finally produce lasting peace. We've heard that regime change is just around the corner. We've heard repeated calls for military adventurism while diplomacy was dismissed as some kind of weakness. Those arguments were wrong before, and they are wrong today. This is the same kind of delusional thinking that sucked the United States into endless wars in the past. The kind of endless wars that this president promised he would keep us out of. When he promised he would focus on bringing down prices, he's done the opposite. So, Mr. President, we must make better choices, and we cannot allow the past to repeat itself.